So I have an iPhone 8, and by the way, I'm a big iPhone lover, so I will upgrade soon. I use it for a lot of things. So I use social media quite a lot for my business, Learn English Like a Pro, and I use it for different apps like Memrise and Duolingo for language learning. And but I think mostly I use it for messaging my family through using apps like WhatsApp.
Yes.
Yeah, how about
Yeah.
you? Anything different?
Well, I've got a different phone for a start.
Mm,
It's an old phone now, actually.
yeah.
It's a Samsung S7.
Okay.
It's pretty outdated now, right?
Really?
I think we're on to S10s or S11s now. I'm not sure, but I've had it for 3 years and it's still going strong.
Mm,
I still quite like it. It's okay. It's getting a bit slow now.
okay.
But I use it for, I think, a few different things. Obviously, YouTube is a big one.
Yes, I forgot to mention that. I also use that a lot for YouTube.
Yeah, it's such YouTube's such a big part of my life.
Mm,
Whether I'm laying on my bed watching YouTube videos or simply I'm playing it
mm,
while I'm cooking or something like that. It's just on in the background.
yeah,
I listen to podcasts through YouTube as well.
yeah.
I've got a few favorites on there, like Joe Rogan podcast
Mm,
and a few others that I really like listening to. So YouTube is a big one. I also do have the podcast application, the
mm,
Google Podcasts,
okay.
which is where you can find us. We are on there now.
Also on the Apple podcast.
Yes, yeah. So I do like podcasts. I like, and again, even when I'm taking a shower, I put my phone on the side, blasting a podcast, and I'm listening to that while I'm
Oh,
taking a
wow.
shower.
You are a content junkie.
Yes, yeah, I consume so much content.
Okay.
And then on top of that, I do play a game now and again.
Mm,
I always have at least one game on the phone just to kill time.
yeah,
And I use it for work as well. It's a big tool for work. I use Kakao Talk, which
right.
is the messaging service. I think just here in Asia, Kakao
I
Talk.
think just in Korea, to be
Oh,
honest.
is it just
Yeah,
Korea?
right.
So I use that for my business and FaceTiming with parents and things like that. So to be honest, my
Yeah,
smartphone is a huge part of my
yeah.
life.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah.
Really, I hate to admit it because I'm not like a young person anymore, but
Mm.
I would find it very difficult to spend a day without my phone.
Yes.
It would be very weird.
It would be uncomfortable,
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
it would be. Yeah, even things like just going around the city. I
Yeah.
rely so heavily on my
Sure, yeah.
GPS, Google Maps, for example, to get from place A to place B. Um, I remember I did lose my phone and I had to get a new one, but I went a whole week without a phone. This was like 2 years ago,
Mm.
and it was tough. I got lost. Like I
Really?
got really lost. Like I haven't been lost for a long time, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I don't know the way. Like, where do I go now? I haven't got anything to check, and like to
Mm.
ask someone. That's so it's
Mm.
such a pre-2000s thing to do.
It is. It's very, asking someone for directions all the time.
Yeah,
That used to be, standard question, but who does that now? Who needs that?
exactly.
Yeah, I'm so reliant on it as well.
Mm.
I couldn't imagine spending time away from it. Do you know how long you use it a day? Have you ever checked, in one of those applications?
I have checked on the iPhone. If you swipe up on the home screen,
Oh, it
it
does.
tells you how much
Uh-huh.
time you use it per day and gives you an average. And I use mine for 4 hours, 4.5 hours per day on
Okay.
average, which I think is quite low actually. However, I do use my laptop a lot as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure for me. I've never checked. I
Mm.
don't think we have the same function on Samsung. Certainly not on my model.
Yeah.
But I do know that there's plenty of applications and I should check. I'm a bit
Yeah.
scared to check actually. I think that the time could be shockingly high,
Yeah.
especially when it's like on in the kitchen or something like that. But I'm so reliant. And I was thinking that the other day. I was watching a documentary and it was back, yeah, maybe around 2000. And
Yeah.
I think it was a travel documentary or something like that. And they were going around the city and they were looking at a map. And I was thinking, it would be, I couldn't imagine that now
Yeah.
that we'd have to actually have a paper map and
Yeah.
we'd have to check that and or perhaps it's in a
Yeah.
book or something, but now everything is just Google Maps, isn't it?
It's crazy. I actually when I first learned to drive, I used a map a lot.
Hmm.
I would map if I was going out of my city into a new place. I would look at a map, find the directions, take notes on a piece of paper, then drive.
Totally the same.
I'm not that old.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I was only that would have been 10, 12 years ago.
Yes, exactly the same for me. I always had that giant sort of A3 size map in the passenger seat, and I'd
Yeah.
check that. It's funny to think back to that. So that kind of leads on to the next thing, and I think this is something perhaps we're guilty of.
Mm.
Um, what do you think about smartphone addiction? Is there an issue for you or any family members?
Mm. Like I said, I think personally I would have a hard time without my phone.
Hmm.
I don't want to use the word addicted because that's a very strong word. However, I am very reliant on my phone, and you know, addiction is a fine line between reliant and addicted to something. So I don't know. In my family, no, not really. I think my family are pretty reasonable and responsible with their phone usage. However, I do have a couple students who I would class as addicted to their phones.
Why? What do they do?
Well, firstly, they can't do anything without looking at their phone
Mm.
first. So if I ask them a question in the classroom, they have to check something on their phone. And I asked them like, "Oh, please don't use your phone. Now this is the language classroom, and this is time for you to think." Like, "Oh, I'm just checking a
Mm.
word." Like this very natural response, and like, "Don't you believe me?" Kind of
Mm.
kind of attitude. So, um, yeah, I think addiction is on the rise. Smartphone addiction is a dangerous addiction.